Caution. This podcast is designed for mature audiences. We delve into topics surrounding sexuality and intimate relationships in a candid and open manner. Please note that we are not licensed marriage or sex therapists, and the content shared here is intended solely for entertainment and informational purposes. If you are under 18 years old or prefer not to engage in explicit discussions about sex, relationships, or mature language, we advise against proceeding further. However, if you're of legal age and comfortable with such content, feel free to settle in, grab a beverage, and enjoy this episode. Just remember, time flies when you're having fun. Oh, and the stories you are about to hear are true. The names have been changed to protect the guilty.
Welcome to Beyond Monogamy, where every episode is a journey of discovery, liberation, and endless possibility. Join your hosts Roger Johnson and Janet Valentine as they peel back the layers of convention, inviting you into a world where passion knows no boundaries. Beyond Monogamy, a podcast that transcends the traditional norms of relationships to uncover the raw, unfiltered stories about the lifestyle. And now, your hosts, Roger Johnson and Janet Valentine.
All right, we're coming into the home stretch, so I'm going to start it out hot. Welcome to Beyond Monogamy. I'm Janet Valentine.
I'm Roger Johnson.
And this is, we're ending your season 1. So I kind of wanted to do just a one-on-one with the original people who started this podcast and kind of do a look back at what we talked about in this first season 1, what we've come up with and where we're going. And just kind of free flow because I don't know if you're joining us for the podcast for the first time, welcome. This is a podcast currently Roger is in the lifestyle and has been in the lifestyle for a while. I have been in the lifestyle. I'm semi-retired, a little bit longer than Roger has. And what this podcast is designed to do is to talk about the good and bad stuff that we encounter in the lifestyle. And you all are flies on the wall that are listening to our discussion. Now, if you want to listen to more episodes, you think this is great, go to beyondmonogamypodcast.com and you'll find a list of all of the podcasts that we've done so far this year. You can also go to just any place that you're finding podcasts and should be able to find us. If you have a topic that you'd like for us to talk about, especially next year, a question that you want us to answer, there's a way to contact Roger and contact me off of that website. And there's also a way to tip Mandingo, who is the producer of this lovely podcast and gets paid absolutely nothing, even though he's designed that wonderful Slickums commercial. He doesn't get paid anything. So it's been a couple of weeks. We've been through some holidays. How's your life been, Roger?
Oh man, it's been good. I've had a lot of personal life things kind of coming to a close, and that's been kind of nice coming in the holiday season to wind down. And I'll tell you, when you're carrying less of your personal life into a party, it makes a difference. It makes a difference for me. I mean, I've had positive feedback and kind of pre-warned woman in the past, like, hey, had a lot on my mind. It's been a hell of a week. Regardless of how it feels when it happens, remember, I mean, I do like you, but she's like, no, I want you to hate fuck me, and I'm just like, God. But anyways, my point is because we're going to there's a party Saturday, a Christmas party, naked Christmas party, and
naked Christmas party sounds so good.
And so when you're going into that, you're able to walk into the party in party mode, like just ready to just. For me, I'm ready to get my fuck on rather than like at the house asking Dee, "Are you sure you want to go?" And she'll look at me like, you need to. Like, so So
I'm always Fabio always has to. He's usually the instigator of we should go to this thing, we should go to this party, and good or bad, I don't blame him if it turns out to be bad and it's just a terrible experience. I don't blame him because he's just trying to get me out there. But I found that if I make myself fake it till I make it, or make myself just get out of my head and just go and do it. You can paralyze yourself with, or you can start doing the Debbie Downers of I'm just, oh, woe is me, and God's a horrible work week. Nobody's gonna want to fuck me. Nobody's gonna want to do this. Nobody's gonna. And then you walk in the door and it's like, okay, let's go. Something changes.
100%, and it's crazy. It's so because it's nearly always like that. But you'll nearly have the same just battle in your own head. And no, when you get there, and when I say get there, it I could mean walking into a party and people are glad to see you and hope they get to fuck you. They and to put myself on the other side of the fence and just you and me, and you walk into a party, you can tell me about your week. I'll do my best to pretend to listen, and in the most respectful way I can say it, I don't give a goddamn
Right.
about your week.
Exactly.
If I as I'm because I'm thinking at the end of this story, it's got to make her clothes fall off. If I just make it to the end, we are we are fucking. But I say that I'm not that superficial. We have friends and I care deeply about them, but I'm at the party for the same reason you are.
Exactly.
There's a reason why I came, and it wasn't. I'm happy to hear about your week as a friend, but I came to that party to fuck you.
Right. That's why. So, like, if a friend is hosting the party and I've got something like that going on, I may go early to talk to them about stuff that's going on in my week or whatever. But come party time, it's time to fuck. And there's all that stuff. So, the whole thing of, I think what I enjoy the most about the lifestyle parties is
Mm-hmm.
there's no preconception, there's no notion that you have to find your soulmate there. There's no
Nope.
notion that you have to cure the world's ills. There's no notion that you have to even be nice to people. Okay, you try to be nice to them, you just fuck them. Okay, it's all about, am I going to be able to come? And then sometimes it especially, well, you can also be really selfish. You can be selfish and not have to worry about it, especially if you have a partner that you go your way, they go their way. At the end, you tell each other the stories, but it's time it's your time. It's me time. And I like it. Um, I was talking to Lola, she's part of the six pack that I play with. Um,
Uh-huh.
and Lola, she's the toy queen. Um, she uh, she gets in her head about going to parties where it's the same group of people. So she gets to where she starts thinking, oh, so and so doesn't want to do me, or I know that last time so and so did this, and because there's a history and she's been there with those people before, she gets in her head and doesn't play as well. And then when I take her to a party that is 4 hours away, okay, and she doesn't know anybody at the party, none of that happens because she has no preconceived notion of what that guy sitting across from her does, thinks. She doesn't go, oh yeah, that guy's the poker, or oh yeah, that guy is the one that kisses terrible, or whatever. There's no preconceived notions coming into a group of strangers. So she's not as inhibited, and she walks in, and then she is the social butterfly fucking flower, you know.
That's fucking awesome. I think that I have some friends, and I'm thinking of one very specifically that I think kind of has that same thing go on, and you know, early this season, I had mentioned that you'll always suffer the most in your own head,
Right.
and um this is just kind of a perfect example of that. um I know that the friend I'm thinking of kind of has the same thing, and it's no more than the difference of how she goes into that party when it's strangers and how she shows up when it's familiar people and she already has all that going on in her head.
Hmm.
If there was a way to block that and walk into that party as the social, say it, social what?
Also, fuck flower.
Yeah. Then because it's because that's the visual everybody else is confronted with is, oh, look at her. Look at
Uh,
how out
she's
front she is. She's
she's
ready
so
to
open.
go.
She's open and ready to go, and there's no oh, that's the girl that does XYZ or whatever. There's no past history, so it's kind of fun to go into a place with strangers where you you know the attitude is there. You also have the trust because in order on these parties, there's a little bit of vetting and some other stuff. It's not like we grabbed a group of people off of Craigslist and say, "Hey, come to this house and fuck around." That's a little bit more dangerous. But going to a party that is outside of your circle and going into new circles, um, I I get into my head before I start, but once I get there, in order to survive, I fake being extroverted and I just fuck. And then somewhere in the middle of it's real, and and then it's fun, and then my head is in that wonderful space and is gone, and I am transported into the orgasm fuck land, wherever, whatever you want to call it.
That's probably the unsung gift, the unspoken gift from the lifestyle, and being at a good sex party is just you can just have the shit coming at you all week, and if you can get to that party and get naked and get on that bed in that orgy room,
Right.
you are completely disconnected, and assuming you're able to come and orgasm. I mean, you'll ride a dopamine high for a good couple of hours. For me, I'll ride it all the way for the car ride home, get into
Oh yeah.
bed, and just ease back into my problems that I had left behind the night before. Um, and that's probably the single most untalked about thing that I think a lot of people benefit from.
Yeah, because people aren't going to believe it, you know. And it's almost like Barbie said, the Kodak moment of that looks good in porno, but it doesn't. So when you look in a porno movie and you see the orgy, it's almost the opposite of it. They cannot convey through an orgy on a porno movie that feeling. It's not. You can see it. You can see everybody's fucking around and stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of people fucking. But until you are in it and in the middle of it with strangers and have lost control and just lost and given up your stuff, that
Hmm.
no movie, no description, even us trying to tell you about it, nothing is better than the actual thing. And then once that actual thing happens, you go, oh, I want to do that again. You leave the party, and you tell your mate about it, and you talk to them about the other stuff, and then there's some positions like, yeah, I'm never trying that one again, but wow, that one was really good and I'm going to do that. But the that reaching that feeling, you kind of want to do it again. And
Yep.
so that's why I say I'm not going to ever completely retire. I'm just going to not be as active because as I'm getting older, and you haven't faced this yet, but as I'm getting older, it's just there's other stuff, and it's just stuff gets in the way. But uh, I still, I don't think, I'm pretty sure when I'm like 85 years old, I'm going to find another group of 85-year-olds that like to fuck.
Or a group
Right?
that likes to fuck an 85-year-old.
I don't care. Hey, I'm going to be that woman at the party that pays that young guy to bring her and fuck her. She's got enough money that she brings the young guy, bring a stud. Hey, he's fine. We're fine.
uh, I if I make it to 85, I hope I bend a 30-year-old over and am
Yeah.
just able to just rail her to oblivion and then be like, not bad for 85. Anyway,
I I I still I have vivid memories. One of my most vivid memories is walking out of Moon City with Fabio and with Bill and with the other couple's husband, the three guys. And
uh,
I had told the story about setting them up. I There was this young nymph of a thing that was 20 something that was being done on the table at the sex club, and I tapped the Frenchman's things and said, can I do her? And she was really afraid, and she'd never had a woman do her, and it was a whole lot of fun doing her. And I set her up, and then I teed her up like it was the best setup shot for volleyball or the best setup shot for football, whatever. I was the best wingman for those guys. And I set her up and had that woman shaken. And then all three of them ended up fucking her. And I remember walking out of that club, and the three of them, the awe on their face was, we just fucked a 23-year-old. We just fucked a 23-year-old. You know what? These guys are in their 60s. Okay, so it's like that. That's and there was no harm. She got a lot of fun out of it. She got the woman experience. I got to be very good to my friends. It was a great situation. And so, yeah, I want those. I want those to continue. And I still have bucket list stuff. Not a lot, but I still have. But we want to go to that place in Bamberg, or in Germany. We want to go to the castle and fuck all weekend long, right?
oh, I know.
Oh.
That's so funny. My whole life, I've always I've always chased older women, and the lifestyle. I think it's a little more fluid, but an older woman having appealed to me early on just still has an appeal now, and I'll just go for it like I always have. But I was telling Dee, I was like, you know, I kind of I kind of got a hunger for like a 25 or less. Just
So I don't have
fold
for a
one up like a
guy.
fold one up like a pretzel and go at it.
I have the hunger to do that with a girl, so I can show her that women are not bad and that don't be afraid of the other side. Because that's how I was when I started, and I kind of want to do that. I don't. Those younger guys, younger men. It's. I don't want to teach anybody. And those dudes, they come so fast. So fast. They come so fast that they don't make you. I mean, you barely get started, and foreplay is just not in their vocabulary. Sensation, sexual, emotional intelligence is not in their vocabulary. So I don't want to spend that time with those dudes, those 20 somethings. Now, um, I talked about that party, the gerbil. And if you go back if you're listening now and you want to find that one, it's one of the Christmas party one. That young gerbil kid, he was in the middle of the orgy. I would not do him because he was young. He was in the middle of the orgy. You're fucking whatever happens to bump into you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay. But, the age wise. So, what I have questions about this first season. Did this podcast turn out to be what you thought it was going to be, or did we evolve it into something else?
In a in a lot of ways, I came in with kind of no expectations and only just uh, letting it be what it became. Um, uh, I go and look back, and in my mind, I'm like, I need to do better at telling stories. I'll tell them on here, but um, I don't think I'm painting the picture of how great it was in my head. And just some kind of maybe slow down, add a few more, just more details about what else was going on
Hmm.
around, kind of thing. Um, and because I could sit here and tell you, did I in a previous episode I mentioned meeting a hot ass woman who was a manager at Walmart, right? At
Well,
a
I think
party.
she was a convenience store. No, maybe.
That I did talk about that one, and
Right.
this story is not involved in that one. That was a rant. Uh, I mean, a few parties ago, or the it was near back to school time, and naughty schoolgirl. And there was
Okay.
this girl with this hot little ass hanging out the bottom of this schoolgirl skirt, and I'm gripping D, looking at it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I want to see you just bury into that," and it just didn't happen. I, because I'm just not gonna focus in on a chase.
Hmm.
When I'm at a party, I'm there to do what I came to do, and if something jumps in front of me, that's what's happening. I'm not
Right.
I'm not on a pursuit. But she had come up to me at the end of the night, and had kind of put her arm around me, and I was just kind of ready. I was ready to go. This won't make sense to half the people listening. I was just ready to go. Dee sitting there like, you need a few minutes here to finish something up, and normally it'd have been, yep. uh, I'll come find you in a few minutes, and I'd have just yanked that girl into the room. But I didn't. I was ready to go. Like I said, I'm not on the chase, but I did feel like I had left something on the table on the way home, and I was able to circle around a couple parties later and circle back,
Right.
and got that. And that was one of the few times that it may have been worth the chase. And if I just had it in me at that party, I shouldn't have left it on the table. But it doesn't always turn out that way. But she's a manager at Walmart, and I don't mean to say that in any way other than I've never met anybody that's a manager at Walmart and is hot. I just haven't.
Right.
Maybe it has something to do with where I live, but I go to a lot of Walmarts. Anyway, yeah, and she was hot. Very nice lady. Um,
I guess um, this I didn't realize how well this podcast was going to help me in terms of therapy. Um, some of the stuff that is just floating around and things that have been in my past relationship and other stuff. It's been good therapy for me to talk about, to examine why I like this. I think the statistics are out there now. You are the person who's going to go to the net and find it. But the last time I looked, it said, I think there was an estimate that 32% of the couples in the United States were in the lifestyle, some form of lifestyle, non-monogamy. 32%.
God, I
And
would have guessed like less than 10.
I um, I don't know. So because we'll play this game, Fabio and I will be where we're out and stuff, and there'll be a couple, and it'll be like, hey, you think they're in the lifestyle? And then you start looking for the signs that they're in the lifestyle. And there's a few signs, and you drop a few hints and stuff if you're around them. You say things like C4P in a conversation, or SLS, or drop some of the vocabulary. So that's why the vocabulary words, to see if they know those vocabulary words, bluefish, or unicorn. And sometimes they'll say it. But I've been wrong once, and that was actually with Mandingo. Marilyn and I think I told that story before. When we first met, when I first met Mandingo, the producer, it was, I was, we met him at a bar. He did a favor for us, a business favor. And then we started talking to him, and he flirted with me all the time. He just always flirted. And so I thought, he's got to be in the lifestyle. And I met his wife, and she's quiet and passive and pretty. And we were sure, Marilyn and I, because I introduced him to Marilyn, and Marilyn had said, yeah, I think he's in the lifestyle. Just the things he talked about. He'd make mention about the size of his dick or something, and some other stuff. And he was just Mr. Flirty. He's very witty. And so we decided one day in the middle of the day, we were out shopping with him, and I said something like SLS and C4P, and he didn't mention it. And finally, Marilyn just goes, "Hey, are you in the lifestyle?" And he said, "What?" And she said, are you in the lifestyle? He said, "What is the lifestyle?" And I said, "You're kidding me." And he said, "No, I know." And so that's when we started to tell him that we were swingers and explain it to him. And then the look on his face of the saucers was like, oh gosh, I guess he's not in a lifestyle, but he's always been fascinated by it. So he's very sexual and has always been fascinated by it. And so that's how I have one very vanilla friend. He's vanilla, that has knows I'm in the lifestyle, and could almost be, he's trusted to be in the lifestyle, but he says he won't do it. And I'll let him, he'll tell, maybe in season 2, we can get Mandingo to tell his story about why he wouldn't. But he says one of the things is he doesn't think he can handle the jealousy of watching his wife get fucked by somebody else.
I mean, the best way to, I wouldn't recommend having a, hang on, not a bluefish, but like I wouldn't recommend having a bull come over and just sit in a corner.
Right.
I would recommend getting a different girl bent over first, and have that kind of going on to the side of you. So
I think
that's
also,
what I'd recommend.
Well, and then another thing Fabio and I do that is, we see these marriages that break up because so and so cheated on somebody else, or somebody did the nanny, or somebody got somebody pregnant or whatever, and they'll say, well, that divorce broke up because of infidelity. Well, Fabio and I will turn to each other and say, lifestyle would have fixed that.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Introducing Coconut Slickums, the ultimate personal lubricant that brings a touch of tropical paradise to your most adventurous sex party moments. Made from 100% pure coconut oil, Coconut Slickums offers a silky smooth glide that's as natural as a unicorn breeze practicing the rule of 6 or DP. No more worrying about synthetic ingredients or greasy residues. Just a luscious moisturizing experience that feels as good as it sounds. Perfect for enhancing intimacy or just adding a bit of luxurious fun to your day. So go ahead, indulge in the tropical treat your skin deserves with Coconut Slickums. Because when it's this smooth, it's always a perfect day at the meet and greet. To learn more, visit BeyondMonogamyPodcast.com.
Let's get back to hearing from the guilty.
Oh yeah.
If you would be in the lifestyle and could handle it, then the fact that your partner goes off and scratches an itch shouldn't bother you. And what it really does for your relationship is it takes you down past sex in the relationship.
Yep.
And it takes you to what really binds you together. And it's more than just sex. If you don't have that relationship where you have respect for one another and things in common, or just not even opposites, I don't care, but just something that the attraction beyond just the sex, or if you don't enjoy being with the other person beyond just the sex, then uh well what so it'll make a good marriage a lot better. It'll make a bad marriage go bad quicker.
Yes.
So
The the thing I would share on that, and this was, I'll share my own experience. Prior to it, I probably had a similar feeling and emotion to what Mandingo talks about. And when we were getting started, I'll say Dee was kind of pushing me in. It was starting from a point of I can't wait to her words. I can't wait to grab a bitch by the back of her head and just ram her down on your cock.
ooh, that's
And
so hot.
I know, right? Where were you when we were getting started? Anyway, um, as we were getting started, it happened once or twice, and I ended up just kind of just I ended up fucking a girl. It's probably about and after about the third time, it this was coming to a point where it's okay, this is a couple's sport, and I had seen by now I had seen other couples just going to town kind of right next to each other and loving it,
Hmm.
and so you see other people doing it, and it's like, okay, well, wow, they're not bothered by it, they're not fighting all the way home, and nobody, they're not fighting all the way here, nobody showed up with a black eye or anything. And um and so I got to where I was just so curious about the emotion, but like, well, I'm over here having all this fun. I know you want to have some fun, and that's when we and then when it happened, and it did happen, I was just like, when it happened the first time, she was so worried about how I would feel about it that she was kind of forgot to just let go and enjoy the moment herself. When when we got home and talked about it a lot, and and she kind of got over it once she cut loose and she was able to just enjoy herself. I enjoyed watching her having fun as well. She's having her fun, I'm having my fun.
Right.
But and I'll say the key element that a lot of people don't mention in this, because we talk about you go to the party together, you go home together. Um, we always had, I guess, for lack of a better term, we would get home and have, like I said, for lack of a better term, it would be reclamation sex. Um, just
Yeah, Steve
come
does
home,
that, I know,
go
with
to
the
go
librarian.
to bed together, and
Right.
just bang one more out, and
Right.
but with each other.
Yes, I know Steve and Elle do that, and yeah, I do, especially because one of you will start explaining something, and you'll be like, "Oh," and then it gets you turned on because where was I when this happened? Well, you were over there doing so and so, or you don't even get into the tit for tat thing, but you just get into, oh, that sounds hot. And then when they start to describe it, then of course things are going to happen. So yes, rewind sex, maybe that's what we call it.
Rewind. I know there's a couple of different terms, I hate reclamation because it's not like we were repairing or
No,
but it just kind of coming back together, but it's not like we were apart. But you know what I mean. And I'm probably killing that part of it, but I think in doing that, you really kind of start to just put sex where it just actually is. And like you say, you really peel back a lot of layers and realize that it wasn't the sex that's binding you.
right.
It's okay for her to, if you go out and enjoy fucking other women, why wouldn't she enjoy fucking a few dudes? And why wouldn't it? And yeah, I was afraid there's gonna be another dick come along. She's gonna like it better and grab that guy by the dick and walk off with him and just leave me hanging. And it's just so not even like that. It is
Right.
that is just not the case. That's not, and so um
And if it is the case, then that relationship was meant to break.
yeah, it was broken to begin with. So
Right. Right. 'Cause I know that was my first husband's fear when we were in this, and he was right. Because and it wasn't another guy that came along. It was I just woke up and found respect for myself that I was not getting. So, and it had nothing to do with the lifestyle, and everything to do with my my growing up and my maturing and my seeing things.
sure.
So and the lifestyle will get a bad rap for people on people and say, oh well, yeah, we got into lifestyle and that marriage broke up. Is that really why the marriage broke up, because of the lifestyle, or was
Yeah.
that just a symptom of something that was going on?
Your marriage
So
was already in the toilet.
so our vocabulary list is growing, and I have this idea when we conclude this season. I think we should start next season with a little bit of a Jeopardy game or whatever, and with going through the vocabulary list to review some of these, and to see if we can remember what episodes of what we were talking about when they came about. I do have one side note. In the discussions last week, a couple weeks ago, someone was listening to our uh, episode where we discussed the Eiffel Tower. We've discussed Eiffel Tower a couple of different times. I have a third person's thought or viewpoint of what the Eiffel Tower consisted of. Okay,
Wow. I may
so
want
we
to do
start
this weekend. Let's hear it.
right. So we started with Eiffel Tower was something that I brought up the Eiffel Tower first when I was talking about meeting Steve and Elle for the first time. And that once they got going and were back in the bedroom, we had Steve down on the bed. I was riding his cock, and Elle was getting her pussy eaten by his face. We were facing each other. We grabbed each other's tits, and then I knocked our heads together. It was so good, and it was called the Eiffel Tower. That's what I always thought the Eiffel Tower was. Second definition was brought by you, Urban Dictionary. Two dicks close to each other. No accidental sword touching, no homophobia. Two dicks next to
No,
each
yeah.
other.
Two guys got a
The,
scissor.
right, two guys scissoring. The woman rides it down with her pussy, thereby making the Eiffel Tower. Okay.
Yep,
Um,
DVP. Yep.
right. Third definition, these guys said they truly thought this was the definition.
Okay.
Two guys were in a London Bridge or spit roast, whatever you want to call it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so two guys, one is in the pussy, one is getting blown. They're facing each other. It's so freaking good that they high five each other. Okay, and high five is the
Uh-huh.
necessary thing to make the London Bridge or the spit roast become the Eiffel Tower.
That's funny. This reminds me of a swinger joke. You want to hear a swinger joke?
Yes, absolutely.
I this is so dumb. Um, a while back I was at a party and I noticed this lady bent over, and again she was bent over blowing a guy, but she's bent over and she had it out there and available. And so I walked up behind, kind of grabbed those hips and gave that butt a rub and just slipped it right in and started going to town. And now this woman's getting spit roasted. Except I look up, and the guy getting the blood job is my dad. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? I can't believe all these years you've been with mom and you're cheating on her. He said, I'm not.
Edifice.
I told you it's stupid.
Come on, this.
Mandingo, if you hear that and you think it's stupid, just edit it out.
I can hear him cackling in my head. He's got a great cackle. It is my goal for the second season to get him on so that we can listen to some of the things that he has, because it's really interesting to have that outside viewpoint coming in. I think so. I think what I wanted, I'll go through the vocabulary list, and you tell me, and I've added two more words to it, obviously, just from today's conversation. You tell me if you can remember what episode we were talking about it.
Oh man,
So,
I am
right,
terrible at this. Is
oh, that's
not
okay.
my
So you,
forte,
well,
but
prison pocket is yours. You said
that's
prison pocket.
I
Okay.
did,
So do you
and
remember what it was we were discussing? I'll
like
give you a hint.
that one I can probably I'll be better at that than like what episode, like number of
Right.
episode name.
What would,
But
no, no, no. I don't want number.
what we were
What were we
talking
discussing?
about is when like you're going, you're just kind of bebopping around a party and you're naked, and all of a sudden the girl asks, do you have a condom? And like, but you're naked. Like if I had one, where do you think it would be? Where would
And
I have
Boo
it?
and Boo or Urkel, whatever you want to call him. I call him Boo now because he's a lot hotter than Urkel. Boo had one. Do you remember where he had it?
Yes, and but because I have never, I meant to order them. D was supposed to order me some. We never have, but he had that pair of underwear that you can order.
No, no, he had them in his sock.
That's right, because he never took his fucking socks off.
That's right.
Ugh.
Now you know why he
Funny
never
thing
takes
about the
it.
Walmart manager is she didn't take her socks off either.
Maybe she had a condom in her sock.
Yeah.
So we talked about Prison Pocket. We talked about Eiffel Tower. We talked about London Bridge. Painting party. This is the topic we actually talked about. Barbie and I told the story, and then you told the story.
Oh,
It started
oh
with your
my
story.
God! Because oh geez, I got we wrapped that one up, and I went in and told D, I was like, I knew we should have done it. This is what we missed out on, and I told her like the whole story. But yeah, you guys had your apartment just for parties,
Right. We had an apartment just for
and
parties. We called it
and
the Afternoon Delight Place.
and the painting party took place in that
That
apartment.
was the first painting party. We had the apartment at the lake, and at the lake, uh, what I forgot to tell you was that we had hung sheets up to hide it from the neighbors, the off the deck. But what we had done is we'd strung a bunch of clotheslines back and forth from the trellises, and we took, when we were done with the canvases, we took clothespins and hung them up to dry. I could have sheets out on the line. We had all of the canvases that had the turtles and the butt flowers, butterflies and stuff. So they hung up overnight, and then everybody, when they left, was able to take their art home, like little kids going to the trader. Instead, you had your fuck
Look,
art.
look, Mom, I made this for you.
Painted my dick yellow, and then I made a yellow turtle. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Uh, Grocery list sex. Do you know what that is?
Yes. That's when that's when it's so uneventful that your mind wanders and you're trying to remember what you need to get from the store on the way home.
Exactly. Your mind is on the grocery list rather than that. We talked about piddlers already on another episode. I added, well, DP. So DP, BBC, and BBW, those are all three terms that are used on C4P, on SLS, and in a lot of vernacular. DP, stands for double penetration,
Double
right?
penetration, and that a lot of people cross wires on that one uh, with DVP, and DVP came to eliminate that confusion. So double penetration is one in the dick and one in the ass. DVP is double vag penetration.
Now,
So
I've had some DPs that were not successful because what happened is so much coconut oil was there that it slipped down into the vat. It's double penetration. Either the guy's dick wasn't big enough, or there was just not. It was not happening. So he slides out from the ass into the DVP. You start out with the attempt of doing a DP, and end up doing a DVP. That's happened a bunch with me. I don't know if it's my fat ass or
You know, I it, so DP and DVP are both just pretty hard to pull off. You're
yes,
you're cramming a lot of things in a small space. Um, and by the time you factor in two sets of legs, hers and the guy on the bottom, um, and then so you're trying to straddle both legs, or if you've got um, 20-year-old knees, and not
yeah,
40s and 50s, you can crouch down, but I don't think most even athletic guys can sustain that. So it's just hard. It takes some everybody being anatomically fit for it. Um, but DVP is fun.
right.
It
So then we have BBC, which is that's easy to find. That's big beautiful cock or big black cock. It started out as big black cock. Some
yeah.
people might call us again. You can't call anybody in the lifestyle. Typically, you're not going to survive in the lifestyle if you're racist. If you're not going to do somebody
No.
because of they're Indian or because they're Asian or because they're black, then you need to go away. Because when you turn the lights out, it's balls and it's ovaries, dicks, balls, pussies, whatever. You don't care what
Yeah.
color it is.
I am
Um,
dying to go to Atlanta. I say Atlanta because that's where trapeze is, and fuck a black woman. Oh, I'm dying to do it. Anyway, go ahead.
and you're not that you're right. I have not seen as many black women, chocolate women in the lifestyle. And I think my first husband, he always desired to do a black woman, but uh, I don't know. There just weren't as many, but maybe it's because we were hunting in the wrong place. I think it's changed, especially recently. It's as more people have gotten into it. Broomstick guy. Do you know what a broomstick guy is?
This one slipped in my mind.
You got to use a broomstick to hold his belly up so you can see his dick.
That's right. That's right.
And
That
broomstick
that
guy would
bastard.
bring, hey, broomstick guy. Now we do have a fat bastard, but broomstick guy was a different guy, and he didn't care about his body. His wife was banging, and he knew all the guys wanted to do her, and so he knew the only way that was going to happen, or she would go to a party, would be if somebody would do him. And I got stuck doing the broomstick guy a couple times. And at one point, his dick was so little that, and Steve was there at that party. He was he thought he was fucking me vaginally, but he was fucking my asshole, and he didn't even know it was in my ass. I didn't even feel it was in my ass because it was so small. Oh, broomstick guy, if you're listening, bad karma. You should have never treated me like that. You should have never acted like I have to fuck you because your wife is so hot and everybody loves her and she's the big Barbie and blah blah blah. She was she was very shallow. I knew I could suck cock better than she could anyway. Um, lid for the pot. There's a lid for every pot. Um, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Uh, somebody else is out there that'll do it typically for them. Dick dippers. We told that story.
Yep. Yep.
That's
And
a whole episode. You can go back and listen to that episode. Dick dippers and slickums. Slickums is that's that coconut oil, guys, and that's through several of these episodes. What does it mean to be vanilla?
when you're vanilla, you're just not in the lifestyle, and I mean, sometimes just don't even know about it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Bluefish. Why are they called bluefish? Do you know why?
No, I just know
I
they
do.
are.
I do. Because there are a lot of bluefish in the sea. Okay. There are a lot of single guys that want to be in the lifestyle, that do not have the partner, because in the lifestyle, it's mainly driven by the woman getting into it, the woman, her attitude. A guy cannot drag his wife into it and her not want to do it. If she's coming in to save the marriage is done. Okay, she's coming in because she wants to get fucked, or she wants to explore stuff, or she wants to feel that feeling, then you're fine. But but there are a whole lot of bluefish out there that are swimming in the sea alone. They don't have a mate that wants to get them in the lifestyle, and there's a bunch of them knocking at the door. It is easy, typically, to find single guys to go to these parties. Yeah, I mean, getting laid without any strings or consequences and not having to shell out money for a date. You might have to shell out money for the club, but for the date. Unicorn. Why is it called unicorn?
Because just uh, let me give you the right answer first. I've got a pretty cynical one. The right answer is because a single woman that will date a couple, like lifestyle date, is hard to find.
Right. She's a unicorn. I know a few of them. I have the privilege of being friends with a few of them. So what's your other one that you said is cynical?
The wrong answer is because it's hard to find one that's not fucking crazy.
Oh, that's kind of true.
Yeah.
Hot, crazy line stuff there.
Oh man, yeah. Bless their heart. I have to keep going. I've got to make a small adjustment here.
Okay. Jack-offitis. Do you know what that is?
I know we talked about it. That's when you it's when you jerk off so much you can't come from fucking anymore.
That's right. You can come only from your own hand.
I might have jerked off that much at some point.
I introduced that because that was when Fabio and I first got back into the lifestyle, and we had gone to our first club, and the first young guy came in to play with us. And I tried and tried and tried to blow him, and nothing would happen. And Barbie was the angel that was appearing on my shoulder, telling me, more than 15 minutes and it becomes a job. And my ex-husband was yelling at me for being a failure on my other shoulder as a devil. And when I finally went over then to fuck Fabio and turned around and saw this kid using his hand to jerk himself off within 2 minutes, like they do in the porno films, I was like, okay, that's jack-offitis. He's jacked himself off so much, there's no other way to get it.
Yeah, man, I've got a drive like that. It's not easy to live with. Anyway.
Well, but you don't, you come other ways. You find other ways to do it. You scratch that itch and find it. I mean, you've got D to fuck it out, and then
she does a good job.
Right. Sweet tea moment. Do you remember this?
Sweet tea moment.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it, but I can't recall.
We alluded to it. The sweet tea moment. We were trying to do a DP, concentrating very hard. It was me and Steve and the doc. And the doc has something that's not very, it was not conducive to the moment, to the DP. It was not working. It was slipping into the vag and stuff. And so it just wasn't working. And in comes Elle and is completely oblivious to all of the problems that we're having getting this DP to work. And she just ruins the moment by turning to her husband, who's part of this DP, and saying, "Is this my sweet tea?" And she said it in such a way that the total mood broke. And, if the doc was not nervous before, he was done then. You could feel his dick just go boom, down, deflate, okay? Because she's just, she did not, she was, you're in these parties.
As innocent as could be.
Right. Just going in and, is this my sweet tea? And then just ruin the moment and then walk back out. But that's how it's a testament also to how good of friends we had become at the lifestyle, how well we knew each other. Was
Sure.
that you knew if your tea was in there and a bunch of people were fucking around, you still go in and get the tea. It's typically not going to screw anybody up unless you're trying very hard with a nervous man with a little dick to do a DP, and then it kind of doesn't work.
It's funny.
Let's see. Oh, spank bank. That's my term, spank bank.
Yep.
You use that now. I know that you use that. In your
I've
head, you
got
got to
one.
go to it.
Oh, I got
Right?
one big time.
Cream pie. We did not really talk about this, but we are going to be talking about this in season 2. So let's put a teaser in that because I have a story about Big Dick Donnie and cream pie. Do you know what cream pie is?
Oh, yes, I do. As they are not my thing, um, they are Dee's thing and your thing.
Mm. Oh yes, sucking the cum out of a woman's pussy. It's
Yes.
cream pie. Oh, it's so wonderful. And then snowball. Do you know what a snowball is?
I think that's sucking the cum out of her ass.
No, snowball is
Oh.
something L. So, although there's got to be a term for that, that's probably chocolate snowball. That's chocolate pie.
I'll look on Urban Dictionary.
Okay, look it up in Urban Dictionary. Snowball. Uh, Elle knows that I love this so much. One night she comes running down the stairs and she's got somebody else running behind her because she can't talk. And the person's yelling, "Where's Janet? Where's Janet? She's got a snowball." And what that means is that Elle has cum in her mouth. I run over and kiss Elle, and Elle pushes the cum from her mouth into my mouth. It's
Yeah,
a
that's right.
snowball.
Baby birds it to you.
Yeah, baby bird, snowball. Yeah. Hall pass. What's a hall
Mm,
pass?
that was a conversation that took place today.
Oh,
Hall,
really?
hall pass is when one partner, in the scenario that applies to us, one partner will give the other partner permission to go meet up with and have a lifestyle date of sorts, um, as just a solo.
Without them, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Trump card.
Mm, that was mine. And well, we need to hold a trump card that no matter how bad you want it, how bad you're going, if it's not working for the other person, I can say, hey, I'm putting the card on the table here. This
I
isn't
don't want you
working.
to
We
do
gotta
them.
go. I don't want you to
Right.
do that. We gotta go.
Right. I don't want you to do them, or we got to go. This. I have the right to say. I don't even have to tell you exactly why. I just
No,
can tell
it
you I
is,
got a
yeah,
feeling.
it's not a the further conversation doesn't take place then. It's you owe the
Right.
respect to your partner to just okay and back away and let it be done.
And spit roast, we went over broken. Do you remember what it is when I say I'm broken?
No.
When I'm
No.
on my period.
Oh yeah.
So that's a term that women would use for each other and say, "I'm broken today."
Oh, that's when
So
I
just,
slid that old Ron White joke in on you.
I love it. Right, the roller coaster. Here's one that we've skirted around. We haven't talked about it because none of us were this. It always bothered me when somebody would write this on their profile. When somebody writes on their profile, they're soft swap only.
Yep. That means when it comes to playtime, they'll do everything except sex. Everything up to and
Entry,
except. Yeah.
right?
So
Entry.
they'll
So
you can get a
blowjobs, they'll lick the
blowjob and eat
pussy.
pussy, and then that's where we stop.
I'm like, what? So why?
Yeah.
If it's stick the
It's
dick
never
in,
been
keep it out. I just
yeah, it's never been our thing, but it's I guess
I guess you talked about putting your toe in. This is like putting your leg into the lifestyle. Just one leg in. We're just getting one leg in.
well, that's I'm going to tell you that those are, I don't want to classify it as one thing. Those are just those relationships that are kind of near doomed. Um,
Right, right.
there's a
Like
lot
the
of
sauce mouth.
a lot of insecurity and jealousy that is that like and it could be on either the man or woman or both mutually. The you know it I don't want to. I'd hate for somebody to be listening in their soft swap and me go on a tirade. It's not for me and doesn't work for me. So
Um, I don't think anybody who soft swap is listening.
I hope not. It's kind of a full swap podcast.
It's kind of full swap or a wannabe, vanilla wannabe, whatever. This is anyway. Pokers are pretty self-explanatory. That's those guys that take the shot or take so much ED medicine that they're not coming. That all they're going to do is keep that thing hard for 4 hours, poke, 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 and not do any foreplay, not run anything over you. Tornado. Do you remember the story of Tornado?
Yeah, and I don't remember the name, but she was just getting it, and when she came, it sounded like a
Right.
tornado.
We haven't named her. She's Tornado and Cowboy. And at some
That's
point, we
right.
may
That's right.
we may convince them all to go road tripping to come and see you and go to a party. We've decided we should all do that. The characters from the podcast that are spread across the United States, we should find one place to go to. Just hit one of the parties like that I like to go to that's 4 hours away, one of the parties that you like to go to or whatever, and just do that. And hopefully you'll get to listen to Tornado because when you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's our day.
Oh, I'm gonna cause a tornado.
Yes, of course, the tornado warning. That's tornado warning sound. That's what she is. Um, and then let's see. Clown Kitty. This was the new one. A couple of new ones. Do you remember Clown Kitty?
No,
You might not have listened to that episode.
I
Steve
wonder if
tells the
that was
story.
one I missed. Well, go ahead. What is it?
Steve tells the story. They're at this party. It's a party at his house. Tornado is there. Okay, she is on. Some guy comes up behind her and asks. So Steve likes to have polite parties. Like you have to ask to do the person, and if they say yes, then it's fine. Okay, that's Steve. He likes to be the gentleman fucker. Okay, that's Steve parties. Okay, you and I are a little bit more aggressive, but he's a little bit more of a. Let's all be polite here, and if you're not polite at Steve's parties, then you don't get invited back. So anyway, some guy is up doing Tornado. He starts to eat her out. Okay, he starts to warm her up and eat her out, and he stops and he says, oh, he stops. He's getting ready to fuck her, and or he's going to eat her. He's warming her up, and he stops and he says, "Oh, you need to go check yourself." And Tornado says, "What?" And he goes, "You need to go check yourself." And she says, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "I think you're bleeding a little bit down there. You might have started something." And she goes, "Oh, honey, I had my uterus taken out 15 years ago." So I don't think that's what's happening here. Can somebody else come and look? Somebody else comes and look, and they realize, playing detective, that prior to that, some woman with very, very red lipstick had been eating Tornado's pussy and had created a clown kitty.
You can't make that up. This was
You
one that
cannot
I.
make this
This was
shit up.
definitely on one that I missed.
Right. So for those of you that are out there, just kind of search through these. These terms have come out on these other. They're sparse through season one, and Clown Kitty. That story is there, and it's also the same story that they have Mangia la Figo, um, and Mangia la Figo is Italian because uh, Steve and Elle are getting ready to take a trip next year to Italy, and they're trying to learn terms. And I think Mangia la Figo. Now, Steve's not here to be correct, so he'll have to correct me on another episode if I get it wrong. I think it means "eat my pussy." Mangia la Figo in Italian, so they can go to the clubs and say "eat my pussy" because they're getting ready to go. Gray tape, guys. That's mine. That's pretty self-explanatory. That's when You start talking to that guy, and he just keeps saying the most inane, stupid stuff, but he's hot, and you want to do him. So get a piece of gray tape, put it across his mouth, and fuck him. Okay, that's a gray tape guy. Um, and then let's see, SEI. Do you know what SEI stands for?
Yes.
Sexual is the
Sexual
first one.
something intelligence.
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional.
Sexual emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That's what you preach all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, hey fellas, listen to her moans, listen to what she's saying to you. If she's moving her hips in a different direction to try and push you in that direction, go in that direction. Okay. Be aware of the other person and their needs, and be aware of, like, if your elbows are digging into the inside of my thighs and I'm wincing as you're fucking me, stop it. You're looking up Manjula Figo, aren't you?
Yep, I'm on Google Translate, and oh, there it is. Let's see if we change it to Italian. Yeah, my um say it again.
I think he says Manjula Figo.
I think it's it.
Okay.
Let me turn this up.
Then I don't know if we can hear it. Nope, can't hear it. So you also termed one the mosh pit of pussy. Do you remember that story?
No, and I want to be ashamed, but I'll just be thinking about this shit
I know.
during the day or leading up to a podcast, and
That's exactly why I'm doing this as one of our final season 1 episodes. I'm trying
this is a good idea.
I'm trying to tease the people into going back and listening to some episodes that you've missed, and then think about what we're going to be talking about moving forward. Okay, so this the mosh pit of pussy. This was when I was telling the Christmas story. You came in late on that episode to hear me tell the story about the band member that was so young that he probably didn't have pubic hairs, and that they let him fuck everybody at the party. He was done, and he was like this little gerbil with this flat filled thing, and he was just going pop, 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 from one to the other to the other, and you would just see this sea of people. You would see him just like he was surfing the ocean, but it was the ocean of orgy, and you named it Mosh Pit of Pussy. And then you also had brought up the term, although you have not used it this year, bukkake party. Do you want to try and define it for us now, or are you going to tell us a story about one later?
I mean, bukkake's it's a thing, and it's you'll run into it at some of these parties. That's what this girl wants, and that's when a lot of guys are standing around, and she just wants everybody to come on her face.
Okay.
But I'll say it's not my thing, because I'd rather be fucking I'd rather fuck you and pull out and come on your face than
So
be
the only way this is happening for me where I would halfway enjoy it. So I don't like cold cum. I like warm cum when it comes out of a pussy and I suck it out, or when I'm sucking a guy's dick and he blows right into my mouth. I like warm cum. It cools down when it goes on your face, and it gets in your eyes. Okay, so I would wear goggles, and that would not be very sexy to put on goggles and then have a bukkake party on my face. So it would be like Kodak moment stuff. I'm sure Barbie would be like, yeah, it's not good. It's not happening. I've added 2 more just from our discussion today. I will put it on the list, and we will start season 2 by going through some of these again and maybe quizzing on it. Rewind sex, because we've now defined rewind sex. You go home with your partner and start telling them everything that happened, and you fuck around. And then I added fuck flower, because Lola becomes the fuck flower when it's a party full of strangers. And that's my list for now. I'm sure we're going to add some more to it. I do have stories that I will tell in season 2. Stories. I always have Big Dig Donnie stories. They are endless. And the reason is because Big Dick Donnie has been in the lifestyle since he's 18 years old, started. And Big Dick Donnie is kicking up at 75 right now. Okay. So I got lots of stories about things that he has done, adventures he's done, and things that he's done that are really freaking funny. And, sometimes good, sometimes bad or whatever. But mainly the fun stuff. And there's definitely a cream pie story that's worthy. There's also a story in which someone asks Big Dick Donnie how open-minded he is, and they find his limit. And finding the limit for this guy is one who is golden showers are fine with him. Little bit of spanking and choking a little bit is fine with him. So he doesn't have his boundaries are a little bit further out, but somebody found his boundaries. And I got a story about that we will do in season 2. And then we'll also have, hopefully we'll get Mandingo on in season 2 so he can tell some of his, not necessarily lifestyle stories, but he's got a family story of family members being done together back in his wild side days that we want him to tell. And then I'd like to get his viewpoint on some of this. So anyway, I have learned so much about you and about Dee, and I still have some really fond memories are when Dee happened to be in my town and you were in another town and she was in my town on work. And she texted me and said, I got to go get fucked somewhere. Is there a party? Because Roger says I can go if I go with you. And I was like, yes. And so there was a couple weeks here when she was visiting my town, and we took her to a couple of different parties. And the first party that we went to, and she is, we're fucking the Johns or the Toms. I can't remember. There was so many guys, so many different, the same names. We're fucking them, and she's like, Roger wants proof. Roger wants proof. And so in the middle of her getting fucked, she's like, don't show my face. And the guy's like, don't show my face. But I send live the video to you. You're on the other end of the phone. And I send you the pictures of her getting fucked. And you're on the other end. And the joy in your voice. And the joy in her voice. This is so
video.
hot. Right, the video
was like, it was terrible quality, but it was so fucking hot.
I don't care.
It was so
like Blair Witch. It was probably Blair Witch because I was getting fucked at the same time I was doing the video. Okay.
And hearing her moan and them both coming. Oh, it was the hottest fucking thing ever.
Right. So, there's some really great memories that we've had.
My goals for next year, like I wanna make a trip to see you. We'll have to talk about it and plan it. And I think it would be fun to do a recording laying next to each other in a bed with no clothes on.
Okay. I don't know how much I'm going to be saying.
Well, it'll be kind of in between.
Right.
And we'll just capture that moment and share it with everybody, and then close it with one more, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. We definitely want to come and see you. We want to do road trip, a couple of different places, things that we want to have, and then just continue to explore stuff. I have learned just so much about you in doing this, and we've always gotten along really well because we're so alike on some things.
Yeah.
It's always nice to find a woman that has the same attitude as you do, you know. And then I think I'm surprised that I admitted to anybody who's listening how totally introverted I really am when I go into a party and what I'm thinking in my head before I start. It's so self-doubting, and I want to cure myself of it, but geez, I've been on this earth enough. It's never going to go away. I still will doubt myself.
I have, and I've learned. I've also learned a lot about you, and some of that is just it's really common. Our listener base picks up, and people start listening to some of these old things. I expect emails to come in, and it'll be women and women that responding to the episodes that you mentioned that, and they like, oh my God, I deal with the same thing, and
Like I'll look at a picture of something and that somebody will go, "Oh, that's really hot," and I'll see the pimple on my ass and go, "There's a pimple on my ass." Okay. Or like you said before, I will have an extra roll somewhere, and I'm just sure that somebody's going to see the extra roll, and that it's just not going to be. Or um, I know as I don't do well. There's certain women that I don't do well. There's that catty woman, and maybe that's why didn't really care how much broomstick guy and how much I outed him, because I didn't like his wife, and because she was mean to me in the mean girl, schoolgirl cheerleader. I'm the beautiful cheerleader. You're the ugly duckling little bitch thing, you know. So I don't care. Your husband has a little dick, and he's got to take a broomstick to find it. Okay.
yeah, I don't I don't get along with people like that. I
Right.
don't they don't get invited back, or I don't go back if that's where they're at.
They were at my party, and the only reason she got invited was because the guys would beg for me to have her invited. And never say that I don't take one. That's when we should put on the vocabulary list. Taking one for the team, because
Hmm.
what taking one for the team means, and that being a argument, that being a position to. Some people say you shouldn't do it at all, and then Missy said, if you love your other person, you will take one for the team. Okay, so I put it on the list. Anyway, so I don't know if this is going to be our last of season one. We may record again one more time if we have something to talk about next week.
I, I don't know how many we've got in queue, but there are 25 as
Right,
of today that are posted on the website, and
right,
um, you know, like I didn't even know what this looked like when we were getting started. I think in terms of Mandingo coming along and kind of being the final piece to put for this all to be put together, I think it's just kind of been
right,
kind of a destiny type thing. So um, I hope he's enjoying it. I hope he gets something out of it at some point. I deeply appreciate
right.
him being the the third leg to this tripod.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for him, and so I think we'll finish season one. Season two, there's some good stories, and we will start with some of those vocabulary and some of the Big Dig Donnie stories. I have oh, I know, the big one. I haven't talked to you guys about Cop to Oct at all. Okay, about my experiences at Cap d'Agde, the several times that I've spent at Cap d'Agde, and if you don't know what Cap d'Agde is, look it up. It's Cape, Cape, I think, and space D, and then Agde is Agde. It is a city in southern France that is the biggest swinger city in the world. And in the summer, it swells to about 40,000 people, 45,000 people in the summer. I've been there in the spring, and I've been there in the winter and had experiences. So I can tell you about my Cop Dog story and how Fabio became the other nickname. His nickname is the King of Belgium. So he got the King of Belgium nickname at Cop Dog.
I want a nickname like that.
Uh-huh. Well, you have to
Mm,
have certain things about your appendages and certain things. But the woman from Belgium nicknamed him the King of Belgium. That will come out in that story too, the Cop
mm.
Dog story. We've got a couple of them.
I mean this in the most lifestyle relevant way, but it's something you hear in every vanilla setting. But I I think next season it's time for me to really get back in the gym and be training again. But by that I really only mean to really up and enhance my my dick game, my fucking game. So not that I can't get the job done now, but I mean I'm capable of better, and it's slacking in the gym is the cause. So um, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to kind of reel it back in and get back to that fighting
Well,
fucking weight.
so it's kind of so guys go to, yeah, I'm going to get in the gym and I'm going to work my dick better. If you really want to improve, you should work on your teasing foreplay game, use of toys, and erogenous zones game. You should work on that with your partner or try things out at a party. Try to just start at the woman's wrist and then make your way all the way up to her neck and behind her ears, and then tease her with your fingers around and not hit her clit. Just go around it for a while and just tease her into screaming for you to finally do it. Get that done, if you're going to improve. That's my challenge to you.
There's
Don't do it with
that.
your.
You know what? That's why I'm gonna come see you. I'm gonna come see you for a lesson in eating pussy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I I don't know. Like, I mean, you can't exactly like show me on me, but we'll figure it out.
But I can show you on D or somebody else at the party and we can have a discussion.
He
You
is
know,
looking at me, shaking her head. Yes, I think she volunteers as tribute.
right? So, there's also, I still have more stories about the parties that you guys were at. There was a party where we had so much lingerie that was left behind that people would leave something here or there. I had a box of it, and I finally decided that I was just going to have a lost and found party. So the next time we had a party, I told the ladies, "Hey, there's a box of lost and found stuff. Grab anything out of it. If it fits you, I don't care if you own it or not. If it's yours or not, take it home with you." And then what happened is they brought a bunch of lingerie that they could no longer fit into, or they didn't like it, didn't right. And we set up a party in the back, and we made the men not play with us while we did it. We teased the hell out of you guys. But anyway, I can tell that story, season 2, ladies. I will tell you how to set up that lingerie exchange party and make sure that there's some fucking done afterwards.
That'll be good.
Yes. So, thank you for anybody who's stayed and listened to all of season 1. And if you're just starting, go back and get caught up so that when season 2 comes out, we'll see you in the beginning of next year sometime. And if I haven't said it already, I need to make sure that you have a great holiday season. See you next year. And I want you to come again and come again.
Come back.
Come back.
Yeah.
Come back and come again.
That's it for this episode of Beyond Monogamy. We hope you enjoyed our podcast, and we look forward to having you back again for the next episode of Beyond Monogamy.